It's 8:13. It's time for Island Tea. Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 15th. Good morning, Candy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Nice. You look different. Maybe it's because I haven't seen you in a while.
Different?
Like you lost weight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Walking is paying off.
Not walking, I run.
Well,
No,
running is paying off.
no.
Kudos.
I'm a badass. I don't walk. I run.
What have I started?
Yeah. I'm hardcore.
Oh, my bad. All right then. Noted. So, this morning.
Walking is for wimps.
Okay then.
You think I lost weight? I don't think so.
Maybe it's because I haven't seen you in a little while. Maybe Sans hat. Sans hat.
Could be. Could be.
So, I wanted to start off with a quote, right? So I'm looking for a quote, and I usually try to look for the short ones because I feel like when it's a lot, people don't remember them. And this one jumped out at me, and I've been playing around with it in my head all the time. It says, consistency is more important than perfection. Consistency is more important than perfection. And I know that a lot of us, myself included, are kind of like perfectionists. So if it doesn't come out exactly the way you plan it or the way you envisioned it, the way you think that it should look, it becomes an issue, and then you fuss and you fret, and it's not, you don't even want to work with it anymore because it didn't come out perfect. But consistency is more important than perfection. So if it's something that you're constantly working at and you're pushing the boundaries and you're committed to it, that goes much further than perfection. So consistency is more important than perfection. And I think I'm going to use that in my office as well. So I'm saving it so I can go give it to my staff. I'm not sure if they're listening right now because it's a bit early for some of them. But actually they are listening. They're here harassing me on WhatsApp. Yeah, so good morning, guys. See you soon. Consistency is more important than perfection. We're definitely going to expound on that when I get to work. I noticed we have been having like crazy weather. It's been looking overcast for a few days. And I'm not sure, but I keep thinking that it's going to rain, and then I get outside and there's no rain. There's just like this annoying heat, like there's a humidity. And I'm not too sure what's happening there. But I do know that every time I wash my car, it rains. So just let me know if you want some rain, because I'll go take the car to get it washed, because it got washed on Sunday, and you saw what happened Sunday night. So, yeah, there's that. I wanted to highlight some news articles. I know there's VAT Day coming up. I think this one was specially geared for back to school. I don't know if you saw it.
Is it two?
Yeah, I think there's
26th,
yeah, back to back.
Like
yeah. But is it VAT or is it reduced VAT? Let me see if I can find the article.
I'm not sure. I think it might be VAT free, but I could be wrong. And it's on vehicles as well, from what I was told. Yeah.
Oh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at that. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up the article. But I know that's coming up, and I know persons that have children returning to school must be absolutely excited, because who doesn't love reduced prices? Let's see. You found it?
No. You mean about the same VAT
The VAT
thing?
Day thing, because I know there's two, but I
then
want to be sure, like, what if it's reduced VAT or just like VAT gone completely.
Okay, let me check. Did you check WINNMedia Family?
Yeah. So residents of St. Kitts have been reminded to get ready for unparalleled savings as the highly anticipated, so I was right, discounted value added tax. So VAT Day is the discounted VAT approach on August 25th and 26th. I don't know why we thought it was the 24th. 25th and 26th. A statement says this limited time event will empower all approved VAT registered businesses to offer their customers a reduced VAT rate of 5% on the sale of goods. Vehicles will be specially discounted, thus providing an exceptional opportunity to enjoy significant discounts on various tangible items. During these 2 days, customers can take advantage of a reduced VAT rate of 5% on eligible goods, which typically fall under the 17% VAT bracket. This exceptional offer applies exclusively to tangible items that are available for immediate issuance or delivery on the discounted VAT day. Wow. VAT will also be exempted on the first 50,000 of the cost of vehicles, except in cases where duty-free concessions is applied. Any vehicle cost more than 50,000 will attract the standard rate of 17% VAT.
So you really can't escape it because, so basically saying you only get a VAT discount if the vehicle is not duty free.
Right, and if it
But of course, we know there's some
falls
people who
under.
that doesn't apply to. So that means some people will not pay VAT and will not pay duty. Anyway.
You seem to know something I don't know.
Oh, really? What do you
I'm not
think?
one of those people, so
What do you think happens in that enclave that we call Christopher Harbor? They get to go to the port and take their stuff and not pay
really,
1 penny.
really no.
Yeah, that's what.
I love, like, you know what? I can't substantiate that. I just love how you just like to throw these things out there.
No, I'm not.
Do you have evidence?
I'm not pulling this out my ass.
Do you have evidence though? It's just like an assumption,
This
right?
was something that Dwight Astafan expounded on over a period of days.
Recently? His most
You know,
recent commentary?
A few years ago.
Oh, must have missed that one.
Yeah.
Because I know I heard a bit of the most recent one this morning, and
So
I
it's
think it was talking about CBI.
Yeah, but it's amazing to me that there are all these important issues that sometimes they get mentioned and like they just go away. Like you might have you would think that maybe someone may have announced that someone stole a candy from a kid and then they thought better of it and gave it back to the kid. So people like, oh, okay, it's cool, he gave it back. But then we give away what? Maybe a quarter of the country, and it goes uncommented for years.
You know,
And people
sometimes
get
I
their
even forget
panties in a
that
bunch
Christoph
about
Harbor
other
is
stuff.
there because they've been relatively quiet. I don't. Are the restaurants still operating? I know Salt Plage is
Salt
closed
Plage is
down.
closed.
Is the
Such a
pavilion
pity.
still open?
I love that place, man.
So wow. So there was actually something they were doing that you liked. Well, would you?
I'm not
look at
saying,
that?
but there's two separate things.
I just feel like you
I
have
like
this,
the venues. No,
for
but
them.
I like the venues.
Oh, okay.
But I just didn't like the way it was implemented. I mean, why should we allow carpetbaggers to come down here?
And
Come in here
buy
with big
private
talk.
property.
They come in here with big talk and small money, basically, and
Come
use
in and buy
use
private property.
our money.
No, wait, no, hold on, because I know how Christoph Harbor started. The property that was bought was private property. Those persons agreed to sell them to Christoph Harbor. They weren't government-owned lands,
Okay.
apart from the beach, because the beach is Crown land. So those were private properties.
The beach is Crown land. So then, why the wishy-washy permissiveness, allowing them to put rocks across the beach? Okay,
Where?
if you want to say don't drive down on the beach, maybe put a sign and say don't drive down on the beach.
I know
drive-
there's one at Sandy
but
Bank
don't
Bay.
put rocks like you own the beach.
I know there's one at Sandy Bank Bay that says don't drive
That's
down
the one
there
I'm
because
talking
of
about.
nesting turtles.
That's what I'm talking about. Don't put any.
But so the sign is no longer there?
I don't remember there being a sign.
There was a
Okay.
sign there from the jump.
Okay.
Because before it became kind of like fenced in, they had a sign up, and of course people were still ignoring the sign. So you can drive in and park at a certain distance and then walk down to the beach because turtles nest there. And turtles nest all along that coast because I did some volunteer work a long time ago with Sniper, the youth parliament, with the Sea Turtle Networking group, and turtles nest all along that coast.
Well,
so we would go out and look for turtles and help them.
But then there's the other issue of keeping the same energy for human rights, especially the humans who live on this island, who this island belongs to, rather than animal rights. I'm all for animal rights, but
Nah, but we can still access the beach. I've been to that beach.
certain people have more energy for animal rights than they do have for human rights. That's all I'm saying.
That goes all over the world. That goes all
No,
over
but I'm
the
talking about Senkis. I couldn't care less about
Animals?
the other parts too. No,
We
but
don't
I
have
mean,
PETA here.
No, but I'm talking about the
The turtles?
Yo, they put up a sign and they put rocks. Oh, it's all for the turtles.
Because people
I
still
wish-
go and take them.
I wish the government and everyone else involved, especially the people who like to buy up our land with our money, I wish they would
you
keep
having
the same
a whole
energy.
little hissy fit over there for turtles that are going extinct? Really? Come on.
Better the turtles than us.
But
I'm
we can still go to the beach.
No,
They
but
have
I'm not
like a
saying.
nesting
I'm not
season.
saying. I'm not saying I'm against the turtles. You getting me wrong.
They're about to call you for the turtles.
I'm not saying.
Wow.
Still having that turtle soup. I have to add that to my bucket list.
Wow. And now you know why they have the rocks. Because of that crazy comment.
That's a crazy comment.
I am going to go
Because I
help
wanna
them
try
roll some
turtle
rocks
soup?
in place.
How's that
At
a
this
crazy
rate,
comment?
they're extinct. Good grief. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have all those
I can't
powers that
believe-
people assume that they have.
I can't believe what I'm
It's a
hearing.
myth. It's a myth. It doesn't. It's not true. Leave the turtles alone.
Oh, boy.
Good grief! I hope the turtle monitoring network comes for you.
Well, I must have about 6 mini strokes by now, huh? People listening. They don't have strokes.
Well, at least they heard that you said you
they don't
haven't had the turtles.
Yeah,
so
they don't. I didn't say
we'll
it, but
keep it that way.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go over there and spirit myself down on the beach at 3:00 in the morning to dig up a turtle. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Makes me wonder now.
Just an aside. I say, I haven't had turtle soup yet. But I'm just saying, better us than the turtles.
You know, but
you know.
Azard would say, you had to bring in food. But now you're making me think,
Well,
what else
always
you gonna eat?
Food. Oh my
Leave
god.
those turtles alone.
Actually, that one was that wasn't intentional. The food thing.
Good grief.
I had to bring you
I
the
didn't
food.
even get to finish my article, and this is coming down to a nicer part, right?
Okay, go ahead. There was a call, but they can wait.
Oh, you could put it
Two
through.
calls.
I hope it's the people calling
Okay.
about your turtle comment.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay, they're gone. Okay.
We lost both of them.
Yeah.
This is because of your turtle comment.
Many strokes abound.
So-
Probably. Hello. Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Or major strokes, maybe. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Candice.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I threw something out yesterday on a different radio station pertaining to what is taking place on a world event, and more specifically, what is happening in Niger.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hear it, but go ahead. Tell us what you said.
Now, what I'm seeing here, right? I said to Ike yesterday that the crucifixion of Christ, as we know in the story, there was 2 thieves on either side of the Christ when he was crucified. Mm-hmm. And I said we have America and Europe on the right and China and Russia on the left. And Africa is in the middle. Now, we can all interpret this to each individual, but this is how I see it. And I said to Ike, I said, are we being played? Is Africa the sacrificial lamb? Because here we have outside influence. France and America is bullying ECOWAS to send in military troops into Niger. Mm-hmm. Now, what we have taken place in Niger is a bloodless coup. Mm-hmm. So why go and put 2 people to go and fight against it? We don't need bloodshed. And we don't want another NATO into Niger, as they did to Libya, Iraq, and other places. We have to let them know that we know. This is my message on social media. We know your wickedness. We know the game that you play, and it has to come to an end. So, we are fulfilling scriptures in a way, but we can change their narrative and their agenda. I mean, guys, ask yourself the question, why all superpowers are on the continent of Africa, and yet Africans are still in poverty? Most Africans are still in poverty. Guys, this is serious for me, This is very serious for me. I take it very seriously because the future is at stake. Now, let us look at what has been happening to the most powerful president. Falling off a bike, going up the stairs and falling on the top as you're going to enter the plane. These are signs that empire has been crumbled, but they are desperately trying to maintain their power and this dying illusion that they're still powerful. we need to wake up, we as Africans, because, in my opinion, and as we know, as empire falls, so too empire should rise. This is Africa times, guys, and we need to be a part of it, or else we would ever remain in, we think, we down here in the sixth region, that it does not affect us, but we are so deep in it, because Africa is our problem. We need to take ownership of it. Now, quickly, I'm going to just mention two names to you guys. Linda Thomas Greenfield is a United States ambassador to United Nations. She too, and she's a black woman. She's been calling on ECOWAS to put forth a measure to reinstate Bazoum. We also have Lloyd Austin, a black African American at the Pentagon, and these are people in power. But guys, do they see what is happening in Niger as black African Americans, that they want to put them to fight against themselves? I mean, look at how they're strategizing against us and putting these African Americans in political positions of power, but yet they cannot. I mean, they even did it with Obama. I mean, why did they get rid of Gaddafi? And who was in office at the time? Guys, you see how deep this misery is?
You make pretty valid points. And I know some of the backstories to some of the things that you're raising, but I feel like this is like a whole separate, maybe a 4-hour sit-down show. But thank you for always keeping us on the ball, because
yes,
we do need to pay attention to those. Thanks a lot for your call.
Thank you, Journey.
Yeah, that whole Niger crisis is a whole thing.
Someone sent me some videos last night with apparently the French, they I think they blocked off the border between, is it Niger and Ivory Coast, and some other thing. But the upshot is that the Africans they're not standing for it. They're not. They're telling them, hey,
they're not.
There was actually, boy, my French isn't as bad as I thought. It's pretty bad, but I remember one thing at the end in the subtitles. They said, "This is Ivory Coast. It's not France." Exactly. And there's this girl and guy going on bad, like,
it's the gall, it's the audacity for me.
Yeah,
right?
You know.
But like I said, that's like a whole 4-hour show. But I have been following it because my dad is like engrossed into it. Like I was even teasing him. I'm like, at this rate, I soon see you sign up to go be a soldier. But he's pretty, deep into it. So we've been having convos about it.
He's gonna pull a ISIL. African ISIL. I don't know.
Listen.
2 calls.
Hello, good morning.
All right, good morning.
Okay, let's go to the other one. Oh boy, it's so funny. Like those calls rang for like seconds, and I went and
then they were gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your phone be ringing and you don't even hear. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Wait. Okay, here we go. Hello? Island T, you're on.
Good morning, folks.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm very good. Nice to have you back, Candisie.
Hey, thank you.
She's blushing. But then you can probably see she's blushing.
Oh, that easily? All the time.
You believe everything Jamster says? Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. As you said, this Niger thing is long-winded. Well, could make for long-winded conversations, but I think, to cut the chase, we had a democratically elected president. Assuming that the elections were free and fair, then that is what they had. You can't go around changing governments by coups, whether bloodless or not. Right? That goes against the grain of democracy. Right? Whatever the problems they had with the ex-president, right? There was a way to solve that through the polls, right? And I think that should be basic to all. We don't want Africa to go back to this thing of changing governments by coups, right? And we know that the superpowers will intervene in places like Africa because of the resources, etc. But that is no excuse for the kind of chaos that usually result after things like coups and revolutions and so on. Right? So that's where I think we should start from. We want to maintain democracy there, regardless of whether or not regardless of who supports it, whether the West or the East. One thing I was wondering though, Azard, I probably missed the comment about the turtles. You're saying that Jamster was anti-turtle?
Jamster wants to have turtle soup for some crazy reason.
Oh, this was this morning?
Yes.
Oh, I just not
Just
too long
before
came
you
in,
stepped
yeah.
in.
Oh.
Okay.
And you're against turtle soup?
Who?
I'm against eating things that are going into extinction. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough, I guess. I don't know what Jamster would counter that by saying, because he'd probably say,
You should
she's
see his face.
other things, they're going to go into extinction
she's conflating the Sandy Bank Preserve with my love of my desire
We
to try
drifted
turtle
into
soup.
turtles. We drifted into turtles, and he for some reason wants to eat them. I guess it's because of whatever myth there is about turtle soup. Leave them alone.
Actually, I didn't remember that.
Back me up here, Mr. McMaster. Mr. McMahon.
Just try and convince him to try monkey stew instead.
Something, right?
Those
Exactly.
are going to be extinct anytime soon.
Thank you very
And
much.
they would solve the problem.
Good suggestion.
Azard, I didn't
Yes.
hear your comment. I might have missed it, but I didn't hear your comment on the Sunday convention.
Oh, I mentioned it
He
yesterday.
did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I probably tuned in late or something.
Yeah, so, I mean,
your overall impression was what?
It's different to. I was told before I went that it was different to the one how we do it in St. Kitts. So based on that, I expected something different. It was different.
Was it?
Yeah, it was different. Yes, it was.
Because I was wondering how come they didn't ask you to extend fraternal greetings on the podium like you all did.
You know, that's the same thing I asked him. I was like, did you speak? That's the same question I had for him.
We were invited to attend.
You just invited to attend, not to speak. Okay. All right. Well, you kept your place, I guess.
Yes.
As I normally say, when things like this happen, politics in St. Kitts is sweet, sweet, and nice, nice. You know, your slogan. But I thought it was pretty intriguing, the kind of maneuverings and so on, and I don't know what. Can you share if there is actually still a relationship between PAM and the CCM? Formal kind of relationship?
Well, I mean, we were invited to the convention and they were invited to ours.
And that's the extent of it?
Well, let's just say that we are in communication with the fact that we were invited to theirs and they were invited to ours.
Okay. but they spoke at yours and you didn't at theirs?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, just looking on at the goings on, and one day when the maneuverings and machinations will end, and the alliances and divorces and so on will form and break up.
I hope you're streaming if you see his face.
Yeah, I deliberately put him in an uncomfortable situation.
Yes, leave my host alone.
Just to hear his point of view.
Yes.
But yes, you all carry on smartly.
Thank you for your call, Mr. McMahon. Have a good one today.
Thank you for your contribution,
Okay,
Mr.
guys,
McMahon.
let's take a quick break, and we're gonna come back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Enjoy your summer with the Bank of Nevis Limited. It's that time, and the bank has the perfect summer loan package for you. Take a vacation, enjoy a staycation, advance yourself academically, or prepare your children for back to school. It's your choice with up to $30,000 unsecured loan with an attractive low interest rate. Additionally, up to 5 years to repay. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Offer ends September 30th, 2023. Bond strong.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers
So play today.
at any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
Get ready for the Cube Business Expo hosted here in beautiful St. Kitts at the Marriott on Friday, August 18th. The Cube will feature creative products and services from Sabre, Stacia, St. Martin, St. Kitts, and Nevis. Explore a world of creativity. General admission is free. Doors open 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. See you at the Cube on Friday, August 18th.
You got the article? Yes. You heard it?
Yes, good morning again. Welcome back to Island Tea. For those who just joined us, it's a pleasure to have you. Just yesterday, there was... we have a... Okay, yes.
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good
good
morning.
morning.
I just cannot afford to allow Johnston to walk away so easy with this.
Sorry.
call
We
back,
We
yeah.
lost the call. Oh no.
Okay, so just yesterday we had okay then. Caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I was saying that I just cannot afford to allow Johnston to walk away so easily with this turtle thing because I do also love turtle soup and everything that's turtle. It's the only one that have all the meat throughout all the animals, fish and everything, and it tastes really great.
Man.
From what turtle goes through, turtle happens to be the main predator of jellyfish. Jellyfish consume the fish that we like to eat, the snapper, the tom, and all those other kind of fishes that jellyfish consume. And to preserve those fishes for us to eat, they only have one predator, and that is the turtle. And so the turtle eat the jellyfish, and while the turtle feeds on the jellyfish, it lets the other fishes thrive. And so we are able to get food on our table.
You have
On the
redeemed
other
yourself.
hand is
Thank
that we
you.
go further. We destroy the turtle by allowing our plastic to go into the ocean, and the turtle cannot tell the difference between the jellyfish and the plastic.
Good
And
point.
so they will eat the plastic, and they are not able to digest it. So the plastic will eventually kill the turtle. And that's one of the reasons why they're becoming this thing.
Okay.
So
I concede. I
it is
concede the
good to
point.
have some turtle soup. But at the same time, we have to let the turtle survive for our own sake and our food safety. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call. Yes.
I agree. I concede.
Turtles 2, Johnston 0.
I actually didn't know that jellyfish. I for some reason thought they were like filtration feeders. I didn't realize they ate like.
I haven't even thought about them. I just know beware.
Yeah, I thought they were. Well, I didn't know they were ate fish like snapper. So no, we can't have that.
Exactly. See, we need
We
the snapper
cannot
more
have
than
that.
the turtles. So leave them alone.
Yeah, just yesterday I know that this was circulating, police investigating a shooting incident in the Shadwell area. I have not seen an official report yet, because I've been trying to find like one from one of the media sources, but I haven't seen it. But based on the information that is out there, it is alleged that a young man from Temple Alley was shot in his fort at Shadwell area and transported to the hospital.
Is it Shadwell Housing, Shadwell Estate, Shadwell where? Just Shadwell?
Well, there's a picture that is in circulation with the EMS there. So to those persons who are familiar with the area, based on the depiction in the picture, would be able to give a precise location, but it says that the person is from Temple Alley.
Oh, you got more info than I did, because I just saw the whole thing about Shadwell, and I kept looking everywhere to see if I could get like an official article, but I didn't get anything.
Yeah,
So
it's just...
Send me the pic. Let me see if I can identify where it is.
Yeah.
Because I've been nervous since yesterday, because I was like, where in Shadwell?
Yeah, because I remember, I think I was in the office when I heard the news, and just a couple of days ago we had some robberies, and now the shooting incident. So the police really has its tasks, you know.
Cut out for them, yeah.
And of course the Ministry of National Security to arrest the situation that we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis as relates to crime and violence, because it may seem simple, but citizens, you know, it would cause fear in citizens. Or is it that we have experienced so much of this incident that we are now numb to the effects of it? You also have to think about the business communities when you have so many robberies, because then that affects how long businesses are willing to be opened. And again, it affects us as citizens, as we, if businesses aren't open, then as late as they are now, then of course it means that we have to shop earlier. Certain items that we may have at our disposal at certain hours will not be there.
It affects the business profits.
Yeah. And again, us having that level of comfort. So it's really something that, you know, the Royal St. Kitts Police, St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force needs to address in terms of, you know, the investigation, the capture, and of course, community out there, those persons who might be aware of any information, you know. Yeah.
Well, like you said, if anyone knows, give the police a heads up.
Yeah.
Right? And I just hope that we go back, because there was like a little lull, right? We had a little break after that whole spate with what it was, 16, 17. Can't remember the number at this point, which is not a bad thing in terms of like us having to keep track. So we had a lull. So hopefully this is like a one-off and it goes back into...
Yeah. But you know what complicates this is that somebody was pointing out to me that, you know, some supermarkets still don't have security, and what security they have is not armed. But one of the things I realize is an issue is that, one, I don't think a lot of the security companies are prepared to take it to the next level with serious training, like serious armed training and stuff. And then, you know, that's an additional cost to the businesses.
The business. I went into Rams yesterday and a police was in there.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna have to pass it on. It could be that maybe they figure their profit margin can absorb the additional cost. But one of the things is, I don't think the security companies well, they need to take it to the next level to make these
like, you mean have them armed?
Have them armed, but properly trained, not just hire guys and it's like just a job.
I know you mean, like, some of them, when you look at them, you wonder if they've been trained.
I know. So
if they could even run down a criminal.
Yeah. You should be the kind of people like, you know, these guys go in there and they look at the guy and they're like, nope. You know, that's what it should be like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, like you said, it's gonna put a strain on finances, because as a business person, you now have to allocate additional money for security.
And then consider
I recently installed a bunch of cameras at my office, just because I know what's coming up and I'm cognizant of what's happening and where my office is located. And the first thing I did when I heard about the robbery was check my cameras.
Yeah.
This is madness.
And then the other thing too is the security companies. If let's say for the least little thing, they want to carry up their rates.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if someone comes along and wants to get really serious about
But it's a risk to
security
them, so you
officers,
can't even.
it's going to be even more expensive.
You
it
can't even
just-
fight with them for carrying up their rates because their lives
No,
are
I
on
agree.
the line,
I
right?
agree. I
But
agree.
at
Absolutely.
the same time, and everybody needs to work, but at the
Absolutely.
same time, it should not get to a point where you need to do all of this.
Correct.
You can't live in fear. Oh, hello, good morning.
Well, you guys are so right, because at the end of the day, the end consumer will be at the brunt, because if someone is doing business, especially if you're selling goods like you have a shop, supermarket, and you're doing costing, and all of that will go into the cost. If you have somebody stuck in your shelf, if you're paying electricity, if you're paying rent, if you're taking out salary for you, when it comes to the costing of the goods, all of that will be engraved. And now you're going to have security added. All of that is going to be engraved into those goods. Down to a very sweet one candy, going to have that price tag on it, which is an extra, so that one item will not carry the weight. So you'll just do a prorata across the board, and you come up with a factor, and you multiply it back into the system, and you're going to come up with the cost plus your interest. And I could tell you this: no owner going to carry any cost for any end consumer. We all are going to carry it in one way or another. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Absolutely right. Because something has to cover it. I mean, you're taking on additional expenses. You got to spread it across the board.
Yeah, and so now you see, we are, as you said before, that additional security expense could have been maybe expenses for salaries to hire someone, but I guess you're hiring the security company or the security personnel that you would put there.
I want to say, though, that one of the things I did see that the government mentioned is that you get a lower rate, and kind of almost like, I'm looking for the proper wording, but if you bring in security equipment for your business, it's not that expensive.
So it's already in force?
I saw it in an article. It was an article, and the government actually said that.
Okay.
You know, but so if you're bringing in cameras and security equipment for your business, it's discounted. It's not an expensive venture, and I feel like it's it's something that they didn't have a choice in doing, because you can't cover every angle. I mean, even if we have 1 million police officers, strict to the government, the wiser the population. Crime is always going to exist. Crime is everywhere. What I am not happy about is the frequency, and that we don't hear anything about them after a while. Like, was this solved? Did you catch the person? Where is this person? Like, I'd like to get more frequent updates about what's happening.
I wonder. Here's a crazy idea. I wonder if the police couldn't have a special unit, a special security unit. I think psychologically, seeing police on someone's like tunic or body armor, whatever, I feel like if you had a special unit,
like patrolling,
or like that, doing that work where they actually just as though just like when they have feds and they conduct the police and they have to pay the police. I actually think the police could actually have a special security unit. They're dressed like police, body armor, but I actually think psychologically that goes further as a deterrent than having just regular security.
And it might be onto something.
And it could probably be...
Because they'll think twice before committing the crime. They'll be like, the police is there.
Yeah.
He might be armed. He could shoot me. I could die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't know.
you could have some of them be soldiers. You could probably put some soldiers in the unit, some retired police officers who maybe were in the SSU who have serious,
not a bad idea.
Who have the serious, the serious commando training and stuff. So I don't know.
Definitely not a bad idea.
And you just charge for it, just like you charge a security company. And what will happen? It will probably force the security companies to up their game. Probably.
And we talk about security companies and we talk about beefing it up, but these security companies, unless they're getting persons from overseas, we have to start to think as citizens in terms of the
Yeah.
training, because you find that a lot of persons, when you're in security, and as you say about it, physical fitness is important.
Thank you,
And so
Azard.
we need persons
Not
who
these slouching people we see.
Yeah.
The reason I brought it up is because of what you said. You said you saw a cop up there yesterday in uniform.
Yeah, I don't know if he
Right,
was
so-
shopping, but when I got in the
okay.
supermarket, I saw him standing there in
Okay.
his stance, and I was just like,
Oh,
well, all
okay.
right then.
Okay.
You know, so
We
let
have
me
a
not.
caller.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah. Oh, you're giving thanks. I miss you every now and again.
Oh, thank you, Miss Henry.
Yeah, man, I said, well, girl Candisie, by the time you're that, you're going to be one of the 50 million here. Is that what you say?
Yes. She was well missed.
She's working hard, wait. She's working, just I work hard for my million.
Boy.
Wish you well. Now, I was thinking, those of us who went to Jamaica to study, I remember the first time I went to Jamaica. And I went down by the bank on campus. You know, there's a bank on campus.
Mm-hmm.
And standing outside the door was this, who I thought was a soldier with an M16, body armor. So I afraid to go in now. So I said to the man, excuse me, officer, you expect a bank robbery today? So no. And as I move around, I realized that the security guards in Jamaica are armed. I think we need to arm ours, train them and arm them.
Technically, you realize that police officers' answer should have been yes. Technically,
But these
when you
are
think
not
about
Because
it,
you're always supposed to be
Expect it
prepared,
happen,
right?
These are private security, you know, and they're armed. Because, you know, people like to rob the banks and so. So I was saying, maybe the company could apply for the guns and secure them, issue them when the person come to work and retrieve them, whatever. But what looked fishy to me is that these seem to be inside jobs, whether we want to say it or not. These robbers look like inside jobs, you know. You go for the money from the cash and you go in the vault. But where's the vault?
Mm-hmm.
Have you asked yourself those questions?
All the time. I'm always suspicious of it because I remember I was in a bank and I had my phone and somebody called me and I was trying to get off the phone quickly because, you know, like, you're not really supposed to be using it. And this guy behind me, he was like, what the problem be? Why you can't be on your phone? I'm like, have you ever stopped to think that I might be, you know, they might suspect that I'm giving inside information like, yeah, it's crowded now. Oh, there are only two of them on it. So that's why they have that rule.
and then you're a female, so that disarms
Exactly.
onlookers even more.
Prevention is better than
Yeah,
cure.
I am here listening and trying to assess these things. I told somebody who said these jobs are inside jobs. What do I mean by inside jobs? People working in some of these enterprises are connected to the robbers. And then they're using vehicles to get away. Well, what kind of speed they travel at when they leave the business place that they just rob? What route do they take? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, the
A friend of
patrol
mine said,
should help.
boys, police do that a lot. No, man, I don't think police will do that.
No, but you gotta suspect everybody. So you kind of start off there. You gotta suspect everybody, but then you know you weed it out.
Yeah, because
and you,
I don't know if you heard in the news, they charged some policeman, I don't know if it's Trinidad or someplace. He stole one lot of guns and ammunition, and he's a police officer.
He preparing for army.
I always raise the question on the radio, you know. When was the last time the army armory was checked and the police owned too? So as I said, we can't rule out anybody. We have had people before who take the army weapon. I mean, we got to get serious. Because the next thing we're going to turn to are these foreigners or are these local residents? And who is training them? You know, so I don't understand. All I do, I pray. And we must prepare each other, prepare our country.
Yes,
And we need to warn these robbers. The Bible talk about putting water in basket. When you rob somebody, when you gain something illegally, you're not going to benefit. So you keep it, so something and take it out.
Point.
And what example is that?
Yeah.
And all the women who like the nice jewelry. Because some of them going to be flashing gold bangles, you know. The man don't keep all. Some of the parents, well, they're stealing time for the back day. You know the back day?
Oh, gosh.
They have enough to go shop. So maybe we should be watching how to go and buy cash.
Miss Henry.
Girl, you sit down there. You see, I tell you, they could hire me, you know. Maybe
Who's buying cash?
Cash. VAT reduced day. You got money. If you got any vault, you must make money.
Oh, boy.
I mean, we need to stop it. We're setting a bad example. And we extending the curse. Because it's a curse that you put in on the land. A curse. Just like when you kill, you put curse on the land.
True.
When you go and unlawfully, illegally gain what ain't yours. You're not pray for this country, you're not pray for our leader. All the leaders, them need to go pray. Pray, ask God to help them. Give them wisdom in what they do. They go for police, army, prime minister, and the whole cabinet, opposition. All of them, all of us need to ask God to have mercy on this country. We're not going the right way. The devil seems to have taken over, and we will relax in. So all of you, and I tell you, one of these are going to get killed, you know. They're not going to always walk in and stick up and walk back out. One of these days, they're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I
you ever think about that?
We actually touched a little bit on that yesterday because I was saying at least, you know, with the robberies, there's no shooting. No one is harmed. But
one of these days, and then you're going to hear us.
Because people are frustrated.
Oh, they come here. You're going to hear some of them. Oh, they come here and kill our black people. And my good friend, my good family, I hope you're noticing. Because he said he doesn't mind who they rob as long as they don't rob our people. That is condoning. That is condoning it.
True.
Whether they rob Mary Jane, Chinese, Whitey, whoever.
Crime is crime, affects us all. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
We shouldn't
Oh,
segregate.
I don't care. The robbers and the bringers.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I denounce that statement in my good family, but I denounce it. Because that is an encouragement.
Oh, I don't know who said it, but I find it's very biased and crazy.
Each with my family, we're all free man, eh? You remember him saying so? He said so.
Who's that?
Have no clue.
Each with Eli X, my good family, my free man family, he said he don't mind the robbery as long as they don't rob our people. I tell him no. That's an encouragement. All right then, my good family, just tell them differently. Done with it.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one today.
Okay, we got 1 minute to 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have the doctor rearing
Let's
ready to
just
go.
get prepared for that segment then.
Yeah, so let's go to the break.
Awesome.
The Sound 98.9.
The biggest party in sport is back for 2023. And the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots will need your support at Warner Park. CPL will be bigger, better and louder than ever before. And this year, the Patriots are ready to bounce back and claim the title once again. The games are between the 23rd and 27th of August. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com.
Brilliantly taken.
Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Hey, this is your boy, Super Handy Andy, with your Super Handy Andy deals at Hustle's Building Center for the month of August. 15-gallon black storage container was $127.02, is now $107.97. LED spotlight was $77.10. Get it now for $66.05. Black Farmer's Oil Lantern was $67.84, is now only $57.66. Fire extinguisher was $115.78, is now just $98.42. Super handy Andy deals at Hustle's Building Center for the month of August, making home improvement easy.
It's time for your weekly dose. It's 3 minutes after 9 o'clock. Make that 1 minute after 9 o'clock, sorry. And we've got Dr. Natalie Osborne seated and ready to go.
Oh yes, she is ready. It feels like a long time since we've had you here on the show, Doctor.
I know.
I know the song Reunited and It Feels So Good came to mind.
Yes. Are you going to burst into song?
I think I'll leave it for another segment of the show.
It does feel like it's been a while since we've been together.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And the last time I was here, Candisie was not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we missed you.
I'd
Yes.
rather have a colonoscopy than
Azard singing?
Yes.
That's a good
Shots
one.
fired.
That's a good one, Jamins.
and
as the resident doctor, I have to push back because then you're making it seem that having a colonoscopy is a bad thing.
Right?
Let's not do that.
You guys
We
are
wanna
making
come in-
okay, I'd
You're
rather,
making it seem like my singing is that bad.
I'd rather have a root canal than.
Okay, okay.
Azard, I don't know what you did to Jamster.
I think I have a reputation of bad singing that I need to correct.
He's on his own with that. I know I cannot sing. I'm not even going to try.
You know what? I enjoy singing, but I don't have the talent in it. I really do enjoy singing, though. So you hear me
right
singing
there with you,
loud at home and stuff.
in the shower singing.
Yeah.
That's me.
I said, maybe it's a good thing for me because if I could have sang, trust me, nobody gonna hold me back.
Boy, we dodge a bullet there. So tell us, Doc, what do you have prepared for us today?
Oh, well, thank you for having me once again. We're going to be discussing just like an overview on cancer. Because learning that one has cancer can be very stressful and frightening. So it is important to know what to expect from your diagnosis to your recovery. And it is important to know that you need to empower yourself and take control of your health. So that is why this session is going to be very important.
Nice.
And not like 20, 40 years ago where persons were diagnosed with a cancer, it was automatically like a death sentence. So many advancement has been made in treatment and diagnosis, and people are living longer and having cure of these diseases. So we are very excited with the way medicine has come such a long way. And we want to make sure that our audience know that there's hope even with a diagnosis of a cancer.
Now you said that, Doctor, I can remember being a child, and when I hear the word cancer, it just seemed like a death sentence to me and something to be fearful of in terms of not getting. So I'm glad that you're saying with the advancements, and as you educate yourself and grow, you become more wise as to what it is. So we're going to our first question.
I know.
What is cancer?
I know.
So cancer is a large group of disease that have one thing in common. So what happens is that your normal cells of the body, they become cancerous. So what happens, there's some sort of mutation there. And these cells multiply and spread. And then it becomes a serious problem. So we know that cancer is the second most common cause of death in the United States from most studies followed after heart disease, okay? But fewer persons are dying from cancer as compared to 20 years ago.
Thank the Lord.
So early detection and innovation in treatment are curing people and helping people who have cancer to live much longer.
I'm just happy for that because I feel like recently every time somebody passes, you hear it's some sort of cancer. It used to be AIDS and everybody used to be so terrified, but now cancer is so rampant.
And especially the breast cancer.
Yes, so we are really seeing quite a few persons in our small community with cancer.
It's very prevalent.
So tell us the difference then. You spoke about cancerous cells and normal cells. What's the difference between them?
So what happens? Your normal cell follow the sequence of the gene. So the gene is the one that controls that. So it sets the rules down for the cells to follow. And so normally the cells would follow. It will multiply, it would divide, it would stop growing. But once you have a cancer cells, it almost like shuts off the gene, deletes the gene. There are different changes that happens there. And then the cancer cells do as it feels.
So it's like an unruly cell.
Yes, it's an unruly cell, it doesn't obey any command that comes from the center and the control center, and it does whatever it feels, and it creates havoc. So the normal cell follows the natural sequence of the gene and follow orders. The cancer cell is growing haphazardly, irregularly, out of control, and it doesn't listen to the gene or the center control point.
Yeah, it seems like
question.
those delinquents.
Yes.
I always wondered about like benign growth. So what separates those from malignant growth?
We're going to talk a lot about some of those
All
things,
right.
but the benign growth, of course, lots of time, the cells are becoming larger, okay, but they're not, how should I say, they're not cancerous. So there's hyperplasia, or the cells are becoming bigger than they normally should be, okay, instead of being so much as a bad cell or cancerous cell. But there are changes as well too in those settings.
Right.
Okay?
So how does this cancer start in your body?
So, well, usually what you have there, okay, how does this cancer start? We said that the gene or the cell should follow a normal pattern. It grows when it's supposed to grow, which is normal. Multiply, you know, when you learn in biology, you have the first cell, it multiplies to 2, and it multiplies to 4, then 8, and things like
Meiosis
that.
and mitosis.
Yes, you remember that, okay. And then the normal cell has a natural program. It's supposed to die when it says. When these cancer cells get into the starts, there is some genetic mutation there. It can be hereditary, or it can be acquired over time because of changes in the environment, which are a part of the risk factors. And so what happened, these cells, they do not die when they should, and they start to multiply abnormally, okay? And they grow much faster than the normal cell. So usually there is a genetic mutation. It can be hereditary, because we have hereditary genes. Remember when we spoke about breast cancer, we spoke about the BRCA1 and BRCA2. These are genetic genes that their mutation in those genes giving rise to breast cancer. And those are acquired diseases. People mean that is passed on to your family genes. But over time, because of exposure to environmental toxins, different things in the environment, dietary changes, the habit of smoking, there are mutation within the genes leading to acquired mutation of the genes and leading to these cancer or abnormal cells. And researchers have identified over 400 genes that are associated with cancer development. All right?
Wow, and I'm sure that figure is going to grow. Wow. But how common is cancer?
Well, from the American Cancer Society, we know that 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will develop cancer at some point in their life, whatever cancer we're talking about. And the study from 2019 says that over 16.9 million persons in the United States were living with cancer.
But
quite prevalent.
When you say 1 in 2, just to make sure that sticks, 1 in 2 is like 50%. 1 in 3 is like 33.33%.
At some point in their life. Remember, we're talking about all cancers, so it's quite. Yeah, it's quite.
That one kind of shocked me, right?
That's
like
what
when she said 1 in
seems-
2, I was like, what? And I started doing the math.
Yeah, because
It's quite.
I mean, it seemed based on, you know, the talk and everything, and again, it could be that males are more secretive. That
Or don't go to the doctor.
Yeah, because it seemed more, especially with the breast cancer and everything, it seemed like something that affects women more often.
But remember, yes, breast cancer.
But
of
not,
course,
I know this is looking at all
all
cancers.
cancers.
and
Remember, we're talking
worldwide.
about looking at all
Yeah,
cancers
yes,
and
yes.
worldwide.
prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Lung
too.
cancer, and all studies point to that males have more, they tend to develop cancer at a higher rate than females. And we're talking about all cancer in
Yes,
general
yes.
as well too.
What are some of the most common cancers? I know you've gone on breast cancer all morning,
Yes.
but
Well, we know one of the biggest, and for women, is the number 1 cancer.
Yeah.
We've got breast cancer. It affects at least 1 in 8 women. So you've got 8 women in a line randomly any one of these eight women can develop breast cancer, and it's seen in about 1% in male. Then we have lung cancer, which is the second most common cancer. All right, and we know that we can see that persons who are smoking. You remember, there's been this large campaign against encouraging persons to quit smoking, because we know that it's a direct cause of lung cancer. We also speak about prostate cancer, which is the most common cancer that we have in male. It says it affects 1 in every 9 males. So if you have 9 males lined up, at least one of that. And it is also states that if a man lives long enough, he may likely develop prostate cancer. Okay? Wow. We also know that there are common colorectal cancer. We've had discussion about colorectal cancer here. We know that those develop from polyps that go inside of the colon. All right? And it's the third most common cancer diagnosed in people in the United States, where I got this data. And we have different blood cancer. You must have heard of things like leukemia and the different types of lymphomas. Those are the most common cancers that are seen. There are lots of other cancers. You could have a cancer of the pancreas, which is very deadly as well. So we're just a broad overview of some of the cancers that we have.
Can you give us a breakdown of who's affected by these cancers?
We said earlier that it's slightly more seen in men than in women. And throughout the studies that were conducted, most commonly in the United States, it's seen that the black race tend to have a higher rate of developing cancer as compared broadly to the other different racial and ethnic groups, okay? Wow. And then there's certain groups like the American Indian women and Alaska Native persons who then tend to be, in women, have a slightly higher risk of developing breast, any type of cancer we're talking about. And we know as persons advance in age, they have a higher increase of developing any cancer, usually above the age of 60, okay?
Wow. Yeah. What are some of the most common symptoms?
Common symptoms. Remember, we're talking about cancer throughout, okay? But one of the most common symptoms, and these it's a very complicated or complex diseases, and your specific symptoms going to depend on what type of cancer. Right. But overall, you're going to have things like weight loss. That is almost one of the hallmark of any type of cancer. Unintentional weight loss. You realize you haven't changed your exercise pattern, you haven't changed your diet, and you're losing weight. We say unintentional weight loss. You never plan to lose any weight, and you realize that. We've got things like chronic tiredness. You're getting extra tired more than usual. That could indicate that your blood count is dropping off and your numbers are getting low because something is happening. Something is destroying your red blood cells. You could start having pain. Commonly, you could have fever. Some persons will start realizing that they're having night sweats. There are persons who also realize that they have a lump or mass. They realize, Doc, my tummy is getting bigger than usual. Nothing has changed, but I realize that my pant or my skirt is feeling extra tight. And you don't know what's going on inside the tummy. Then you get some studies done and you realize there's some sort of tumor or lesion that's there. And then for skin cancer, you can see different changes and lesions in the skin. Persons may then start to say, Doc, I feel a lump running along my neck. Those could be lymph nodes or a lump under my arm, somewhere like that. So those are the common things that start pointing you that something is wrong. You're losing weight, you're feeling extra tired and weary, exhausted when you do any little activity and stuff, and you start realizing that there are changes and you start having a swelling or a mass somewhere or some kind of persistent pain. And that usually leads someone to start thinking that, okay, I need to get this investigated.
Wow. That's so true. And then probably keep like a journal or something, because you might see the symptoms and you might diagnose yourself, and it might not even be that. So when you go to the doctor, at least you could say, well, it started happening then, and this is what I've noticed. But wow, interesting. What causes this cancer?
So we say that most cancers are genetic disorder, okay? It happens that the gene's cell activity mutates and it creates abnormal cells. These abnormal cells, they then divide, they multiply. And so we know that researchers have found that 5 to 12% of all cancers are caused by hereditary genetic mutations, okay? You cannot control those. And then there are acquired genetic mutations that happen over the course of your life. Like changes are going to happen if a person who is a chronic smoker been smoking for 30, 40 years. Those are the acquired. So it happens over time because of the choices and your lifestyle over time. Okay, so those are the things that happen. So there are several risk factors that we know and that we'll discuss that are associated with developing cancers. Most of the cancers, though, happen what we call sporadically, meaning that we do not have a reason or genetic reason behind it. And those are the ones that are acquired with mutations over time. Sometimes we can help, and those risk factors and things that we can control, we can try to control them, and certain things that we cannot control, like the genetic changes that happen.
So what do you talk about control and not being able to control? So what are some of the risk factors that we can control?
Remember, we've spoken about most of them over the time that we've been together. We always talk about smoking. Smoking can be thrown in almost any cancer. Tobacco smoke, cigarette smoking and stuff. And even these things that we use as e-smoking, e-cigarettes and stuff. Those vape and stuff, okay? They create changes in your lungs. And most persons who develop lung cancer have a history of smoking. Okay, so you know that. So we know there's a direct relationship between smoking and lung cancer. Persons who smoke can also develop things like esophageal cancer. That is the cancer of the tube that takes the food from the mouth down into the stomach. It's called the esophagus. Persons can also develop cancer of the tongue or oral cancer as a result of long years of smoking, and things like pancreatic cancer. Your diet as well play an important part. Persons who have a high-fat diet, remember we spoke about obesity being associated with different types of cancer, because obesity has a lot estrogen in the fat too, can lead and increase your risk of developing several cancers like breast cancer and stuff. If you do not exercise enough, all of these are factors that can predispose you, and there are environmental changes that can predispose one, like toxins. We've spoke about asbestos. You would have heard that many years ago. Buildings that had the asbestos in it increased risk of having things like mesothelioma type of lung cancer. Pesticides and different things that are there can lead, and radiation exposure. Many years ago, there were lots of studies done that persons who would have had, as children, for whatever reason, they would have had exposure to radiation. They then went on to develop different type of cancer of the thyroid. If they had radiation close to the neck or the chest, they ended up developing a lymphoma, things like that. That is large exposure to radiation. And hormone therapy. We've often heard of women who, because they're low in estrogen, as they get older, they have some hormone replacement therapy, and those increase risk of developing endometrial cancer, or that's cancer inside the womb, or breast cancer. So these are things that if we control some of the risk factors, we can do something about them. But most of these are some of the risk factors that we do have.
Wow.
I know it's quite a lot.
And I know you mentioned some of these, but and you talk about dieting and so it might be an overlap, but how can one reduce the risk of developing cancer?
Yes, because we spoke about all the risk factors.
You talk about the smoking already.
If you can stop smoking, we encourage everyone. We want to encourage everyone to have a healthy diet and exercise. We want to avoid certain toxins and avoid those things. Protect your skin against sun damage. Put on the sunscreen. Oftentimes, because we are mostly a black race, we think that we do not need sunscreen. We do need sunscreen.
Say that louder for the ones in the back.
Please, because sometimes when you apply the sunscreen, people ask you, well, you ain't black already?
Yeah. As if that has anything to do with our complexion.
The melanin, they think that is enough.
But it protects you against the harmful UVA raises. Yes. Okay, go ahead. We have a caller.
Okay, so I guess as soon as they call back, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. What about, we also want to encourage our screening. There are many cancers we do not have a screening modality, a screening regime for. And so you cannot help those ones. But when we do have screening, we encourage persons to do that. Like, for example, your colonoscopies. We always encourage above the age of 50, start getting your screening colonoscopy. Yes. Women, hello?
Hello. Good morning, doctor, and your three patients.
Good morning.
Good morning.
they don't sound like they have no sign of cancer. So
Amen.
Amen. Yes.
They sound healthy and strong and young.
Praise be to
I
God.
receive it.
We receive it all. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, my question, I heard you said, well, whether it's tobacco, cigarette smoke, or whatever smoke, they contribute to cancer. Now, my question is this. Suppose someone is cooking outside in the yard and 3 stone, they call it a wood fire, and wood let off a lot of smoke. Can that smoke contribute, give cancer? I'll listen off the ear for your answer.
Okay, thank you for that question.
Be careful with that outside cooking.
Well, I really cannot answer that truthfully because what are the toxins that are being burned inside of this? I really don't have an answer to that.
As soon as he said that, I was thinking it depends on where you get the wood from.
Yes, and what is that content of what you're burning? So to answer you honestly, we'll have to look into that and see what is the component in the stuff that is being burned to create this fire.
I think that's the best answer ever.
So we also want to continue with our screenings. Remember we spoke about ways to avoid. Yes, we have another caller. Go right ahead, caller. Okay. I see that we lost those.
Literal 2 seconds and then you put it on and it's
Mammograms.
on.
Remember we spoke about how to avoid or prevent it. We've got screening mammograms. Oftentimes our female population are not taking advantage of the screening mammograms. Persons are going around making females think that it's painful. It's a little bit of discomfort, but it only lasts a couple of minutes, but it's for the greater good.
Exactly.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. A previous caller mentioned something about wood fire. I'm going to just say just a quick bit of history. All the wood don't give off the same kind of toxin.
Okay,
but
thank you for that.
Thank you.
To use to barbecue or to cook with is to get charcoal from is what we call kasha or acacia.
Okay.
But then you get the best charcoal from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input,
There's
caller.
some other woods that give off some stench that you don't want to use them. And there was a time where we used to use the wood clean. They'll cut the wood and put it down for a week or so, that some of the toxin will dry out. And then they'll use it in the wood fire.
Okay.
Now, my thing though, I didn't hear you say anything about skin cancer. Maybe I missed it. Melanoma. I remember a few years ago, BBC used to carry some program and they tell you places like New Zealand and those kind of temperate lands start getting, they start to see the emerging of skin cancer, or what they call it melanoma. And then they also show you that black people get it too.
Yes.
And you mentioned something about the sunscreen and all of that. So maybe it's a good thing to emphasize. But I wonder how the slaves didn't get that, because they used to be in the sun all day. Although they used to plait straw hats and put them on to keep sun off their body.
But who was testing for cancer then?
So,
excellent.
I just thought I'd add a little piece.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that call. I learned about wood and the different types this morning. Thank you.
But he made a good point. Remember, we spoke earlier about, because lots of time persons were dying, you didn't know what they were dying from, because we didn't have the technology, we didn't do the investigation. So we did not know who died back
and
in
what the cause
what
was.
the cause
Yeah.
was. And so now there's much more knowledge and education and investigative tools that we can use.
It's interesting. I remember I read a story a few years ago about they went back and tested some body that they had found, and they found that the person had died from HIV, and it was
See, and nobody even
hundreds of years ago.
Oh,
or something.
really?
Yeah, I was yeah. So they said because you could imagine back then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes, you didn't have the know-how.
We weren't so developed,
and the
technology.
resources
And
technology.
I'm sure a few years after we're probably gone, they'll have other things arising that we weren't aware of.
Yes.
But I like what he drew attention to, because we said earlier, people do not like to wear sunscreen, especially black persons. They feel like we don't need it.
And somebody actually messaged me here while we were talking about the sunscreen, says, how healthy is the sunscreen on your body. So,
But you're then creating another layer.
I
Yes.
know.
that's exactly what I said.
Especially with climate change.
It's a creation of another layer that
Yeah.
prevents you from sun damage.
But to his point, my wife is light skinned, right? So she usually uses, I think, 20 or 30 sometimes.
I think the recommended amount is 30 up.
Yeah, but like for us now. But the thing is, I was wondering, because I'm darker, so I remember like we had like a playful argument. I said, no, I think she was using 50. I said, but it's not kind of high. I mean, yeah, but 50.
Stronger the better.
I thought that was, but then I was thinking for like somebody like the four of us. It was like what, 10, 15?
The highest I find, I buy.
The highest you find, you buy.
Especially, have you felt the sun recently? It's like it rips into your skin. It's scorching.
If I'm correct, the recommended amount is 30
and up. Yeah.
And up. The minimum you
No,
should have
30
is
for who? Not for black
For
people?
everybody.
No, but I know most sunscreens start from at least 15.
15 and
yes,
up, yeah.
And then they're recommending at least you get at least minimum 15,
Yeah.
but you can increase it.
Yeah.
Persons are saying, I remember this beautiful mother, Iman. She said that one of her secrets has been over time taking care of her skin, using sunscreen and 50% and above.
Yep.
That's what
I
she
don't-
said.
I don't go- I-
I remember her saying that. I was like, wow.
I don't go less than 50.
You don't go less than
Granted,
50.
Me neither. Yeah.
Granted, no wonder she looks like that. So.
Exactly.
Really
And
does
then
look
even
real
with
good.
makeup now, like they tell you there's sunscreen in it. There's
Built
SPF
into you,
built
yes,
into it.
yes.
So there's a sunscreen specifically for black people. It's a sunscreen called
Oh, thanks for telling me.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll get the proper name. My sister.
Send it to me. when
That's the
you're-
only way you
My
get
sister
jams for putting on the
insists on it.
sunscreen.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. My
but-
sister insists on it.
No, I used to use 15, but usually I can't find 15 anyway.
No,
because
15 is the lowest. But if
yeah,
you check
it is
most of
low.
the
they're going to
stores,
give you
they have
30
it.
now
Yeah,
above.
listen,
I don't
take the
feel like-
30. Take the 30.
I think 30 is too
I
much.
think you should take the 50 jams.
Because
Are you
remember-
forgetting that we're now
remember,
experiencing climate change?
You know what? We're
Hey,
going
remember, I
to
need-
discuss
I need
cancer
vitamin
one of
D too.
these days, and we're going to go into more detail.
that's
we're
a
going to do
topic,
that.
yeah.
So I got to get
So we'll
some
bring back
time.
melanoma for the
Yes.
caller and
Yes.
Jamster.
And I
Yes.
think I'll bring some pictures of the sunscreen and the different layers for Jamster.
Yes, yes.
All right, then,
So
guys.
before we run out of time, how do healthcare providers diagnose cancer? Because I think you touched on some of it, but
Yes, okay. Because it's a wide topic and lots of different cancers. A person would usually present with some sort of symptom. Okay, and that would prompt the investigation, the discussion with the doctor. Okay, there's the examination. If you see a lump somewhere, whether it is in the breast, if they give you a history of passing blood in the stool, if they give you a history of vomiting blood or bringing up blood when they cough and they tell you they're smokers, that would kind of prompt you where you're headed towards doing your investigation. So you would start with some blood tests. You want to check their blood count and different things. There are other things that we call tumor markers that are specific to some of these tumors. For example, for prostate cancer, you want to do what we call the PSA, or the prostate-specific antigen. I think we've discussed that before. If you have a thing like a colon cancer, your CEA or carcinoembryonic antigen may come in thing. Those are tumor markers that help to guide you which tumor you're doing. You could also do your imaging study. If you have a breast issue, you want to do a mammogram.
Right.
If you think it's a colon, you want to do a colonoscopy. If you think it is an upper GI problem like a stomach cancer, you want to do your upper endoscopy. So all that would guide you. So those are part of your imaging study. If you think it's lung, you may do a chest x-ray, you may do a CT scan. You may then want to but what put the nail or what we call the hammer on the nail, the clenching thing, is having biopsy. Usually to make any diagnosis of cancer, you need tissue biopsy. So that is where biopsy comes in. What is a biopsy? Essentially, you just take a sample of the tissue from wherever it is, the breast, whether it is the stomach, the colon, if there's a lesion in the colon, and you can then send that to be tested via pathology, and you'll have your confirmation of that, and then your treatment can begin. So we usually have a blood test or imaging study, and then we need a biopsy to help make a confirmation.
right. So
Okay, let's
biopsy is
squeeze
kind of
in.
like the last
Okay.
resort.
I wanted to squeeze in one more off the road. Go ahead.
And-
Caller.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, I remember about 3 months back, there was a forest fire up in Alberta, Canada. And that fire was so thick that the smoke affected a lot of people in Canada and down to America. So therefore, in that fire, you had dry wood and green wood. And green wood let off more smoke from fire than a dry wood. So they all let off smoke. So not because you're going to pick a tree and put it out in the sun to dry and you put it in the inner, you're going to let go smoke. You're going to let go smoke because fuel coming from the wood. Whether the fuel is good for human
okay, Mr. Culture.
Inhaling or whatever it is, smoke is smoke.
Okay then. Thank you for your contribution.
Good point.
Okay, so I think we are
we're running out of time, but you could probably just list what are some of the common cancer treatments, and we might have to take it up again.
Yeah, another time. There's always time. So quickly, what we've got our chemotherapy or radiation therapy. Of course, there are lots of different things. We've got more advanced biological therapy, target therapy, hormonal therapy against some of these. Like a lot of these cancers, like for example, prostate cancer, it's fed by testosterone. So you give something a block hormone or something that blocks the production or the conversion to testosterone, things like that. So you have different immunotherapy as well too, okay? So it engage the immune system and try to destroy the cancer cells. So there are different advances in technology which are giving persons a better chance and a longer survival rate. That is the beautiful thing that we want to think. And I just want to summarize by saying those cancers and some of the more common cancers that we do have screening modalities for, we need to encourage our community and our people to get their screening done. Yes. You need to get your mammograms done. We want to emphasize that. For all women in the community, you need to get your pap smears done. We ensure that if you can, cervical cancer is a cancer. Once you get your pap smear done regularly, you will not die of cervical cancer. You want to make sure persons are going 5-10 years without getting a screening for your pap smear. We need to get women in to get their pap smear done.
Do it for free.
And the health centers do it for free. So get your colonoscopy once you're above the age of 50 or you have the symptoms that indicate. For male, once you're above the age of 40, start checking in with your physician, getting your PSA done, getting your prostate examined so that we stay ahead of this. And any diagnosis of any of these cancers can be treated quite adequately. And so the person goes on to have a good and fruitful life. And whatever risk factors that we can change and the risk factors that we can control, like stop smoking so that we can decrease the risk of having cancers of the esophagus. And the alcohol abuse, almost every patient you see who has esophageal or stomach cancer, they usually have a history of smoking or drinking alcohol. So these are things, if we can educate our community to have them decrease these risk factors, we stand a better chance of trying to decrease these cancers in our community, those that we can control.
I love it.
So thank you once
again. I
again.
must say I enjoy this segment. And I've had persons messaging me asking me about what you're saying. So
yes.
we always get...
we didn't even get to go through all of it.
Yeah, this has been very informative. Thank you so much for popping in.
We really need one on the skin cancer.
Yeah, we're going to discuss that.
Talking about the exposure to sun.
What you just said about the prostate and the testosterone, that's the first time I heard that. And somebody messaged me as soon as you said it. It's a good thing I was paying attention, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doc. It's always a pleasure.
Our job is always to educate, and I enjoy coming here with the two of you so much. I'm in Jamrock.
Thank you. Have an awesome week.
You too, guys. Okay, bye-bye. Music is actually
Suppose
good.
I actually hadn't known this song.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Rhymes the good food people always
cha. My cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, must the brother colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that we like, but stand you full of vibes. Living full color, and I'm black and white. We do what we like, we live to enjoy life. Just start, pour it up, different flavor. Load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, must the brother colors in my life.
Well, the morning vibes continue.
Good morning, baby.
Well, Jamie, you ain't bad. You got the truth.
What's that beat that you played during the break though? Like we all in here saying we don't even know the song, but the beat
the
is like
Pumper. All the girls whose names
oh, the
end in
A
A.
thing.
Yeah.
If your name end with the A.
Yeah. I played at
we like the beat
10 o'clock. Yeah.
Because we were saying we know this song, but the beat.
I haven't been playing it enough, but yeah.
These are good beats. These are good.
Yeah. But that was an awesome segment.
It
though.
was. So many people were calling in, messaging about actually skin exposure to the sun, the use of sunscreen.
I like that though because it means they're listening.
Yes.
Yeah, it means they're listening.
But I
anytime
usually
she comes, I learn something new.
Yeah, I usually no, because hear what I mean. I always felt like I remember when I came. I think when I came one time, I came back from Canada and I had a 30, and I even thought that was too much because I was thinking, because
30.
because I want a tan, and I want I want my vitamin D.
But remember, it's blocking the harmful rays. It's not blocking all the rays.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's
it's just for the harmful
true,
UV ones.
Yes, Jamster.
Gosh, why didn't you let me do that for you?
True.
Jamster, and also you have to remember that your skin is your largest organ. It covers the entire body.
Yeah.
And so if you're able to preserve your skin, you're able to keep that.
I love it.
But the thing is when you put on 50, you don't really get a tan, right? So because I like to know when I go to the beach.
Sir, aren't you born with a natural
when I'm outside. No, but I mean I don't want to look like I'm like always stuck indoors. You know what I mean?
I think you have a natural tan, and I actually like your skin color. I don't see an issue.
Because
we're the same color.
I'm tanned right now. So
don't we have the same complexion? No.
Yeah. I would say.
We good. Just put on the sunscreen.
Jamster could take this sun for all of us.
15.
Yeah,
15.
Boy, no.
Jamster,
I feel like this is a different sun.
This
is not the
when
sun
you go outside. When you go outside, just say, all those persons who don't want this sun, just let me take.
My wife is 50. I said, where you going with 50? I mean, like she's light, right? But still, so that's kind of high, 50.
Nah,
but, I mean, it's not like
the
you're from Norway,
But with all the climate change and everything, I feel like the rays have gotten more harmful. I'm telling you, this is not the sun I used to walk home from senior high in. This is not the sun you used to run about and play in and climb trees in. This sun different.
Point.
So I'm gonna just give you 5 fun facts or benefits for the use of sunscreen. So 1, reduce the signs of aging. 2, limit the appearance of sunspots. 3, protect the skin from sunburn. 4, reduce the risk of skin cancer. And 5, avoid broken blood vessels. So, think about it.
But you also have to remember though. You also have to remember a lot of those things. And someone drew this to my attention yesterday with something else. I don't remember what it was, but a lot of these things we read in reference to. It's usually American-based stuff where the climate is different, and it's usually pink people, right? So
no, but we all are affected.
But see, that's it. I think that has always been our misconception, right? That because we have a darker complexion, we don't need the protection. Hey, not me rhyming.
Me, I'm here.
But we all do. We all do, because they are some harmful rays.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
if you can, I think the one she uses is called Black Girl
Don't forget
sunscreen.
to send me. Don't forget to
So
send me.
here,
the-
Jamster,
I think it's called Black Girl something.
why is SPF 50 good for your skin? SPF 50 is estimated to filter 98% of the UVB radiation.
Yeah, but Azad, what you should be doing when you're searching that, you should try and fine tune the search. So you say
Like, so for black
for black
persons,
people rather than just doing a random search, because the default is always going to be for white people.
Okay.
Right?
It will be general.
General.
So you want it specific. So
Protects you from melanoma and skin cancer. UV exposure is one of the major causes of melanoma and skin cancer. And while we might have twice as much protections as Caucasians, thanks to our melanin, research shows that black folks among the most vulnerable population. So
See
do
that?
black
Okay.
people need sunscreen? Here, this
And you know, I think one of the reasons we're most vulnerable is because of that same misconception that we don't need the sunscreen. So, of course, our numbers are higher. But if we join in the fight and start wearing the sunscreen...
The benefits of sunscreen on black skin. Protects you from melanoma and skin cancer. Let me see the next one. Protects you from premature aging and wrinkling. Protects the skin from uneven tone and dark spots. Protects from unwanted sunburn and sun damage. Should I use sunscreen? He says, yeah, it's amazing. Your melanin is amazing. It performs like a superhero like duties, but unfortunately it cannot completely protect you from harmful UV rays. Take the time to research skincare in African Americans and purchase a daily sunscreen formula made with your skin in mind, sorry. Your face and body will thank you. So here they say in SPF 30. Then they're talking about SPF 45, SPF 50. You know?
No SPF 15?
No, 15.
15 is the lowest, right? I
15
think
is
that's like where it starts.
15 is
I don't think I've ever seen anything lower than 15.
Yeah, 15 is the lowest.
I don't even pass over 15.
Thank you.
So sometimes I pass over 30. I don't go anything.
If I
lower than
can get
15.
anything higher
the
than
higher
30,
the better.
I take it because Lord, I can't take
So-
the blistering. But yeah, we're gonna have to keep on you, and remember to put some on your head.
Exactly.
His head is bald, and you know people take that for granted. That you know you can. I've seen people with bald head, their head peeling from sun damage.
Really?
Put it on your head. Yes.
You guys want to take a call?
Sure.
Call or go right ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
I'm enjoying the turtle soup and the sun and whatnot.
No turtle soup here. Don't encourage him.
I'm going to tell you about he and the turtle when I done. Candisie.
Somebody got your business, Jamster.
Business what?
Oh,
him.
you mentioned something about the sun rays. What did you say again? I'm going to tell you about that.
I said they're more harmful.
Okay, well, you see what I think. This might sound like a light moment, but I think it's because so much wickedness going on the earth among ourselves that the devil gets fed up and he lift up the earth a little closer to the sun.
What?
Look at what happened on the weekend.
Wow.
The devil gets fed up.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that too. Yeah.
But it's the same sun. But he push up the earth, like I said, push it up a little closer to the sun. So we're feeling the effects more.
Well,
now, let me go to Mr. Jamster and Turtle. Jamster, a lot of women, us men, MEN, the masculine gender, a lot of us know how great a certain part of the turtle is, you know.
Oh boy.
And we love it. So I will let the partner from Kayan, who mentioned the turtle and the jellyfish them, he know what I'm talking about, so he could tell you.
I thought we were advocating for not eating them. Come on.
Leave my friend.
Yeah, well, he said, well, you see, when we eat them, when we eat the turtle, the turtle, anyway, when we eat the turtle in the sea, the effects come back to we, the consumers, them.
I'm gonna have to start a rumor about monkeys so that you guys can move on to monkeys and leave the poor turtles alone.
Well, I don't know if me don't eat them. I stopped eating them 1974.
What's that, monkeys?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Because I used to eat them. They taste something like mutton.
I've never tasted it. That's why they call them tree mutton, right?
So they say, yeah. But I happened to be by a monkey lab over in Estridge because I was working for the health department, and I took some nurses over there for them to go in there and discover what they want to discover. And while I was out in the car waiting for them, I saw a big jacko man monkey. He jumped from where he was on the ground on the side of the cage, and he grappled something. He grappled a creature, and he started eating it. I wouldn't call the name of the creature. And when I saw that, I said, I done with all you. Done with that.
Oh,
when people say monkey are vegetarian, nothing
they're omnivores, from what I know.
They don't eat chicken, you know.
Yeah.
Why not? We eat chicken too.
Come down and eat chicken, and they go in houses and take up little children, nose bottle with milk if they get their hand on it and go with it. Monkey.
You see?
So why you don't want to tell us what animal they took up and
vegetarians
ate?
are vegans now.
Why you say James?
Why don't you want to tell us what animal they took up to eat? I'd like to know.
I knew your curiosity would get the better of you.
Huh?
A lizard.
Oh, well, they can eat all
A lizard was on the side of the wire of the cage.
That's fair.
I hope it's a big one.
And he grabbed the lizard and start eating, break off the tail and start eating it.
You see how you guys are discriminated? I'm sure there are lizard lovers out there who would have...
Yeah. But they got cockroach eaters out there too.
Thank you, Mr. Monkey. I do not like lizards. So, yeah, they could eat all. But thank you so much for that input.
Yeah, okay.
You guys really going off the reservation with this gross stuff now.
You opened the door, you know. You asked. Your curiosity got the better. I bet you're not going to ask again.
So in my absence, Jamsa was here talking about food.
Let me tell you, and I said that to him. I said, where is Azard? Because you always manage to bring this back to food. Listen, we're talking about the beach. Jamsa started talking about turtle soup. Tell me, really?
That actually wasn't intentional.
The obsession isn't real serious.
Let's take a call.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, I'll call back again. Listen, in days gone by, in poor days,
yes,
people in poor no longer in St. Kitts and Nevis. People had to eat monkey because it was a means of survival. Everybody didn't eat it, but predominantly he was eaten. But because it was a help to survival.
Mm-hmm.
I ate it growing up as a boy.
What does it taste like?
Well, after many years ago, I stopped eating it too. Just, you see, I eat according to my conscience. When my conscience tells me eat, I'll eat. And don't eat, I don't eat. But who want to eat is a matter to them. Amongst the tribes in those forests and jungles in Africa and South America, monkey is a staple. In fact, a delicacy. Let me say delicacy because I look at something with the Yalamami tribe in Brazil. And when they get monkey, when they catch monkeys, I'll following something in National Geographic. You see the young ones, them they face lit up because they get the delicacy. So they eat from the land. So we have to do that here. But it's no longer so because we're getting things processed from abroad that were not available. And as science and technology develop, you're going to get more things, more edible things and so forth. And transportation and all of that. So, this kind of interchange around the world and so forth, you're going to get other things to eat. So you could avoid some things.
Right.
So, but the turtle used to be, when the season, they used to catch them in camels. And as boys, when we going from school, we look at a spot where they used to set the camel, just below John Gumbs them. And when they had two boys, one at one end and one at the other end. At Abui. Call them boys Abui. You know them as Bui. But then if the two of them pull close, that means a turtle. So we'll go know who set it. We know who set them, and we'll go home and tell them. Sound the alarm, so they'll go in the boat and they'll catch them. And then when they're gonna slaughter the turtle, man, the whole village go there and look on, and we eat from it. We had eggs and all
Yeah,
that.
the Ross students are clutching their pearls now.
I'm clutching mine.
But they're edible, very edible, you know. And you got about 3 classes of meat and in the turtle. So,
Lord.
I just started out the little piece. Oh, one last thing. This is what I really meant to say, but I forgot it this morning. Now, in regards to protection from the sun rays, and for real, the sun these last few months, June, July, that's the hottest I think I ever experienced this sun.
Word. Yep.
Now they have some cream and some cream and lotion. You could rub in your head. Rub it in your head. And it would prevent the moisture from drying out by the heat of the sun. I do that not every day, but sometimes. And I find it works very well. Plus it smells very nice. So, all these are things I like to share. When I know something like that, I like to share.
Thank you so much for that.
So, have a good day again.
You too, my dear.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
So they're extinct, so we're no longer
What?
going to eat them. All right?
The turtles?
Let's stick to chickens. We have those in abundance.
I wish we would. I really, when we had the exhibition, you remember they had some. I think I saw some turkeys up there, and so I wish someone would at least try to, start like a farm where at least we could have some local turkey, local. What's the other thing I saw? Rabbits.
Yeah, I've actually tasted rabbit.
Yeah, it's nice.
That is.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's take another one. Here we go, talking about food again.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Let me turn off the radio. Good morning again.
All right. Then.
Now, back to the sunscreen. Now, children who are taking certain kind of medication, especially those with mental issues and stuff like that, they should be using sunscreen. It is written, I think sometimes what happens, they prescribe the medication and they don't tell you unless you go and do your research online. Or maybe the government should be giving it because they have a large client at the mental health clinics. And the medication, the usual one they give, requires that the users put it on before going into the sun. Now, turtles, you can hunt them. It is illegal to catch them in a certain period of time.
Yeah.
Other than that, you could eat them.
There are spots where you're not allowed to go and disturb their nesting.
No, you don't have to go there. The season must pass.
But we're not advocating that.
They used to hunt turtle. It used to be interesting when you say they hunt out of season. Everybody buying in secret before the police come. Wow. Yeah, but I ate turtle.
I knew it, I knew it.
Yeah, girl, everybody go with a bowl to buy the turtle, please. They put for food,
Have any of you ever tagged a turtle? I don't know how you could eat it.
No.
How you mean you don't know could eat it? You all eat snake in Guyana.
I have never had that, ma'am.
I know you all eat it, though.
No,
and
some people. What
about iguana?
I know they eat that as well.
Iguana is a lizard,
Yes, that is also gross.
You never ate that?
No.
To eat.
I am terrified of reptiles.
What about the capybara? You ever had that?
What is capybara?
The capybara.
I think
big.
they're calling. What do they call that in Guyana? Is that the tapir? I don't know.
No, the tapir is different.
There's wild meat.
The capybara is related to the rat, but it's really big.
So that's gross. So there's wild.
Them.
There's wild meat. They have wild meat markets, and you can go and they sell that type of stuff. But I've never had iguana, snake, or turtle.
Okay.
How about monkey?
No.
I had monkey.
The weirdest thing I've tried was I've had rabbit, and I think I might have tried that capybara type of thing, Because when I was a kid, somebody gave me some curry, and it was not like the regular meat, and my mom was so upset. But I draw the line. So but I just want y'all to remember that they're extinct.
That's not
Change the
going
topic,
to
please.
that's not going to stop Jamster from either to
Please,
the.
let's change. And then the
Me
eggs.
alone?
Somebody told me that the eggs never cook through, like a past guest we had.
Mm.
Like she actually had it, and we had a conversation about it, and she was like, the eggs don't ever like get solid. Like, you know how you can get like a yolk out of like a chicken egg and eat it? It doesn't ever cook through, so it's always kind of like moist and runny, no matter how long you boil it for.
That's passing over Jamster's head.
And I hate poached eggs, so yeah.
I've never had it, but you know, I have had monkey before, but
You haven't?
I
You
have,
have?
yeah. But I always wonder if one of the things I think about, you guys know about Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, right? And mad cow.
Yes.
The mad cow is the version that affects animals, and the
Mhm.
Creutzfeldt-Jakob is the one that affects humans, and it comes about from cannibalism.
Right.
So in the cows, you remember there was this period in the early 2000s where it turns out that a lot of farms, being cheap, they were grinding up leftover parts from the livestock
feeding them back.
and
These
feeding
people
back,
are crazy.
feeding them back to the kids, and then that's how we had the mad cow thing.
And you know, somebody in our chat
And
actually said,
Creutzfeldt-Jakob is a human version of that.
Ish.
So I think the last reported incident of that was in Papua New Guinea sometime in the early 2000s. And what happened is when you eat meat that yourself, so
Right.
basically, it creates these renegade proteins
trigger off something
in the
your
brain.
brain.
Yeah. So I was thinking.
It's funny you said that. Somebody in the chat said eating monkeys like eating people.
Exactly. So I always wondered if there's a possibility that we could have a situation like that eating monkeys, because they're pretty close to us. You see what I mean? So
Funny, you know, yesterday I was saying that I'm going to go back to being vegan, and this conversation is definitely helping. This conversation is helping, especially if we're going to compare it to cannibalism and, you know, eating yourself, because I know they feed chicken. So
no, but I think they stopped that too, because same kind of thing. You know? Yeah.
It's gross.
Not nice.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Veganism. Can I get some vegans in the crowd?
I wouldn't go so far to vegan. I'm just vegetarianism, but I mean, I sometimes I think it's good, like if you have at least one day of the week where you have a
I try to do that.
a vegetarian,
Yeah.
you know, type thing.
Yeah, I actually had it set, and then most days I backslide. Yesterday I didn't have any meat, so.
I used to make I see they have tofu kind of cheap again, but
Yeah.
I used to make tofu cheesecake, and I remember bringing it here for Tony them, and they didn't know.
Azard?
I did cheesecake, like
I done shut up.
seriously.
Cause when he talk about food,
And they were like, you know, Tony was like, and Bacchus and them, they were
You know
like,
what?
oh,
You know
oh,
what?
this is great.
Prove it.
And then afterwards I told them, I said, you guys know that's not cheesecake, right? I said, what do you mean? They said, what? I said, no, it's tofu.
What is that saying about proof of the pudding is in the
Well, like I said, I
Bring
saw some good price tofu on the weekend.
I buy tofu regularly.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of nice dishes you could do with it.
yeah,
There's like
yeah.
there's one I do specifically with
Yeah.
like a teriyaki type of thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah. I've
I
done
buy
that too.
tofu regularly.
Yeah.
It's tempeh I can't stand, but
Yeah. So it takes on, Azard, it takes on, however you season
whatever
it,
you flavor it in.
it takes on, yeah. So if you
Awesome.
want it to taste like fish, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he owes us tofu cheesecake.
But Azard
You
can't.
said it on
But
air.
hey, but Azard,
you're not gonna get that.
Well, listen, Azard can't even boil water. So I mean, tofu, that's like rocket science level cooking. Right? So.
Jam saying here about my.
I'm just playing.
My smoothie breakfast this morning.
I know.
You need to go support Nama. Nama has good food. Yeah.
He needs to work for Nama.
What's Nama?
We'll talk to her about it.
No,
after.
Nama Yambo. She has like a little
It's vegetarian
restaurant
type of thing?
He
It's vegetarian?
No, it's what does she sell, Jamso?
Well, chicken and fries and pizza, stuff like that.
Here I
In
thought we
Molyneux.
were-
No, in Molyneux where he lives.
I'm gonna go to Judah, because I thought when he said that, I was like, oh well, I have my vegan places. Like there's Cold Pot. I actually had this amazing pineapple dish at Cold Pot, so I thought that's where we were going.
I heard. No, but actually, I heard that the food is really good there.
You should, and the scenery. I took out a lot of pictures up here.
Yeah, cold pot
Yeah.
is.
Shout out to Cold Pot.
Yes.
I've never.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been there, but they have mentioned. I think they have mentioned. Number of persons have mentioned it to me.
Oh no, the
Yeah.
food is and the service. I was starving.
I think it was
Got
you.
my food in maybe
I
5
think
minutes.
It was you.
From the time I ordered.
I think you're the one.
It was
who-
probably
who-
me. They had this amazing pineapple salsa. Leon, if you're here,
Oh
you can
my
bring some
God,
for
okay.
me. And I don't even like pineapple like that, but it was really nice. But yeah.
Yeah, but
Not gonna
Jamsa
have
is the
this
one
food
always
conversation
talking
with
about
y'all.
food, always talking about restaurants, yet he never comes and.
Is the tofu cheesecake
Well,
with
it's
me?
time
Is
sometimes.
the audacity.
No, but
right?
time.
You bring it up and not want to even bring a crumb in here.
Man, come on,
That's
time,
how
man.
Jamsa
Time,
is.
time,
You
time.
can get ganged. You better bring
Time,
the tofu
time.
cheesecake.
Sometimes it's but sometimes you want to cook something, and if it's something kind of evolved, like I really am not.
Listen, we
in the mood
put
for
in
that
a
right now,
notice.
you know.
We want it for Christmas. Look how much months in advance
Christmas,
we
okay,
ask.
that's fair. That's more than fair.
Candy?
Yeah, I'll bring some
Well, I
some
buy the
fruit cake
tofu
for you
even.
guys.
I want tofu cheesecake.
Candy.
Actually, yeah, okay. Maybe I should.
Candy,
I
do you
should-
believe him?
I have to have hope. If
No,
not,
but seriously,
But
look.
do you want your hopes to
Candy,
dashed
Candy,
at Christmas?
Candy,
of
you ever
all
Candy.
holidays?
Candy, you ever cook something, right? It's like an out of body experience where you cook it and it's like no. Here's what I mean.
Let's hear
You ever cook something, right? And then when you taste it, it's like you actually forget that you made it. You're like, hey, this.
Did I do that?
No, seriously,
No,
like
no.
when
I
you know what I
agree
mean?
with you. Like
I'm
one
like,
time I
wow,
tried out this
pretty good.
seafood or gratin type thing,
Mhm.
and I was just kind of like, I was patting myself in the back all day. I was like, I can't believe I did that because like I just kind of
Yeah.
wing it.
But then the other thing is sometimes you look at the recipe and the recipe looks so simple, and then you like, just that, and this tastes like this, you know.
So
But
that's what the cheesecake was.
well, no, it's
Well,
it's in the middle. It's in the middle in terms of complexity. But I was really surprised that you could get tofu to taste like cheesecake.
wanna
That was
say,
crazy to me.
Bring it.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, maybe I should.
You know,
maybe I should,
I haven't seen your wife in a while, but the very next time I see her, I'm going to report you. So at least we'll have an
I
ally
should-
in the house.
I should. Yeah, I should. I haven't done 9 years. Maybe I should try it. Just I haven't seen any tofu.
The
for a
Chinese
while, and-
always has tofu and rams. There's a whole vegan section as soon as you walk in the rams at camps. So yeah, just ask me.
The
I
Chinese
can
really?
even bring you. Yeah,
The
the Chinese
Chinese
always
really?
has tofu and
The Chinese can't get my
well,
money.
don't go there. Rams. As soon as you walk in rams in camps and you pass the section where they have
Hey,
the
hey, hey,
bananas.
guys.
I
there's
buy.
vegan.
I will buy my tofu
Jamster.
at Best Buy. Thank you
Jamster
very
and
much.
Candy.
I don't know where they are in
Listen,
Best Buy, but I know where they are
it's
in rams.
10:04. It's
Yes,
time
I'm
for
throwing
the
you
spin.
guys out.
It's
Where
time
are
for
we
the
getting
spin
this
cycle.
I am throwing you
Jamster,
guys out.
where's this voice coming from?
What voice?
It's time
Do
for
you
the
not
spin.
hear it?
It's time for the spin cycle.
Is
this
it something in your smoothie from this
This
morning?
is Trevor.
Yo, you're idol. Listen, thank you for tuning into Island Tea this morning.
Get out.
Have an amazing day, everyone. Yesterday was Mighty Monday. What are we giving Tuesday? Terrific Tuesday?
Terrific Tuesday.
Have a terrific day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye. You know, he's going to miss us, you know.
And I will.
He misses us when we leave.
I will play this song for you guys.
Huh?
I will play the A-list at some point during the
Okay,
show.
going
So
outside to work
yeah.
Fruta full of vibes and things.